from what you've just said, you clearly have great faith in the youth of our country. Once again, do you see inherent in them a kind of spirit of democracy, and that we have a brave younger generation ahead looking after India for us?
When you see a situation when people are arrested without being called a terrorist, but there's very little opportunity for the person to show that he or she is not a terrorist.
Right.
How we deal with it, I don't know. I see that one of the oddities in India, that people who are barely in their teenage get arrested on grounds of being doing very great turmoil and terroristic harm. I think what's her name is Disha Ravi, about recently arrested, and very little evidence of having done anything. And then she said, and I think I applaud that, saying, well, if that's if keeping me in prison is the way Indians are given the right to have freedom, then so be it. That's a noble statement. And statements of that kind had been made by people who had been in the wrong end of Indian executive punishment, tolerated by the judiciary. Not always, sometimes the judiciary has acted well, but often tolerated by the judiciary in a way that needs changing.
You mentioned the youth in India supporting the farmers' protests. Moving on to the farmers' agitation that has really taken India by storm, and in fact is being noticed by the international community as well. The farmers of India in their daily existence face probably the greatest uncertainty, the risk and volatility in prices, a good monsoon, a bad monsoon, and so many other uncertainties that other sectors and other countries do not have to the same extent. What should a government do to reduce the risks inherent in Indian farming?
But the farmers have anxiety of a kind that is really important, because the very Indian agriculture may be a success in many ways, and yet there are dangers, there are uncertainties, there are insecurities, and so on. And the role of a state is quite important to settle these insecurities. And in many different ways, the state has a role, whether it's in Europe or in America or even in Africa. By and large, states have recognized that it just can't go away and assume that everything will go fine in a way that is being assumed in India at this moment. And that's not a good planning. Good planning is not only to get the best scenario right, but also to get any departures from it to be well taken care of, and people being given the confidence that if something goes wrong, they will not have to kill themselves and get into a situation of impossibility that has happened in India in the past, and which we ought to avoid. So I think I can't really understand why the government has to be so insensitive in not understanding the nature of worry about insecurity, which is present the world over in every economic sector, but agriculture in particular.